everyone. So I figured my last video for thank you to my subscribers November, I would cover Marissa Matthews. It has been a long time. We have not covered her since 2022. And that was a year in the TikTok of Marissa. Surprisingly, there was only ever a part two. I thought I had done more parts on her, but I guess not. Something worth noting is I was originally just going to go all the way back to where we left off and continue on, but it looks like she's deleted quite a few of her videos, which is fine. But this one that has just watched on it was from 2021, like September 23rd, 2021. We left off on 11/18/2021, and then this one is from 11/20/2021. So she's definitely deleted, and then like within a few videos we're going to be in the current year. So she's deleted quite a few videos, and I think that kind of saves us some time, and we're just going to kind of roll with it and continue going through her TikTok like we would have. Um I just figure it this way. It saves us some time. I know there was a period for like a year where she didn't post. So really I don't think I mean I'm sure a good number was deleted, but like it doesn't really concern us at this point. And she has three different TikToks, so we'll probably cover the others in a matter of time. But for now, we're just gonna continue on with this one.
Okay, so I found something else cool while I was cleaning. So for those of you who don't know, like I was in cadets and I didn't realize I kept a lot of my cadet papers, to be honest. Like I forgot that they were there. So we got this safe boating guide. But then we also have my target practices from air rifle shooting. Look at that. Look how good. Like that one's like just whatever, but like look. And these ones too. Now these ones have a 3 on them, so like they're level 3. It went up to 5, and by the end of it, I ended up either getting the 4 or the 5. I don't think I got the 5. Maybe I did. I don't know, but I wonder if it, like, I shot today, if I would, like, be any good. Okay, so I found something.
So the last two weren't anything, they were just like trendy stuff, so it didn't seem worth covering. This one, I kind of wish. I remember an era where she was going through all of her stuff. I don't know how much we're going to see because it jumped from November to April of the following year. And I know that there was quite. I remember following her during this time, and I remember there being stuff that she was. There was posted in between here, but this is when she was moving and she was going through all of her stuff. And I actually really enjoyed seeing this era of Marissa because it made her kind of a whole person. Like, I feel to a certain extent, like, whether she realizes it or not, Marissa caricaturizes herself um, a fair amount. Like, so, as I've gotten through the fat acceptance rhetoric, the fat acceptance people, I don't think she realizes that she does it, but when all she does is like scream about fat acceptance shit and how she's a victim and then using her mental illness kind of as a shield from any criticism, she kind of becomes a caricature of herself. And so I wanted to include some of this stuff because I feel like it gives us a fuller picture of her as a person. And it's unfortunate that she doesn't do more. Although we're going to see, I feel like there's another era coming up that was during 2023 because I checked in on her a couple of times. And during 2023, there was this whole era where she was like going to music festivals and part of that whole scene where while it's not my thing, it seemed to fit her very well and she like really looked like she was enjoying herself and enjoying her life. And I want to highlight those two because I think Marissa is someone that, as we will see continue as we continue going on, would be a much happier person without social media.
Hello there, everyone. This is just a friendly reminder for those who do not know. Fat shaming and skinny shaming are not the same. Let me explain. Skinny shaming is bullying. Fat shaming is systemic oppression. One is bullying, the other contributes to the marginalization of that group.
All she is rhetoric. This is something that we've heard 1,000 times over. And this is one of those that, to this day, this talking point irritates the shit out of me. You want to talk about biases against fat people under very specific circumstances, I think we can have that conversation. Making generalizations like this will never work and automatically turn people off to your movement every single fucking time. I promise you it does. because it's fat shaming is bullying. I'm not afraid to say that it is bullying. I don't think it is part of systemic oppression. If you want to talk about how it can be part of systemic oppression, then we can talk about that. If you really want to get into that, we can talk about that. But to overgeneralize and say that every time someone fat shames someone else, they are contributing to systemic oppression is fucking stupid. I'm sorry, but it is. No, sometimes people are just assholes. Sometimes people are just bullies. Should they do that? Fuck no. But to say that fat shaming and skinny shaming are on two different tiers or wavelengths or whatever the fuck you want to say, it just sounds like you want to be a victim. Honestly.
Thin people are the standard. Thin, white, cis, het, man are the beauty standard. So yeah, being skinny shamed, that's bullying. Because you're not systemically oppressed for your body size. Whereas fat people are. So it's not just bullying. Right, Phantom? Yeah, he's annoyed with you. Like to those who don't get it. Coco, do you get it? You get it, right? Yes, you do, don't you? So yeah, they're not the same. They never have been. They never will be. Look how many freckles I have. Coco. Oh, hi. So yeah, they're not the
Yeah, see, it's that fat people are systemically oppressed. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you want to talk about some issues around healthcare, we can talk about that. That is, that I've really come around to that being kind of a gray area to talk about. I think there was one other thing where, like, okay, no, that's a little bit of a gray area, but I don't remember what it is. But to say like systemic oppression, I'm sorry, but you are aligning yourself with actually oppressed people. I don't like getting into politics, but the talk of this is the small thing that I'm gonna just cover, but the talk of revoking citizenship from naturalized citizens because of the country they came from or their skin color, that is oppression. Fat shaming is not.
The conversation right now on whether it's fat phobic to not want to be fat, to me just really feels like an attempt to deflect people from having to really unpack their internalized fat phobia. And that can be from both fat people and non-fat people. So I'm not going to answer that question, but I am going to recommend some readings. I think it's really important that people understand the deeper systemic issues connected to fat phobia. First one is Fearing the Black Body. It talks about the racist and colonialist roots of fat phobia. Then I would recommend The Body is Not an Apology. It talks about body image and radical self-acceptance. Then I would recommend Sarah Simon's Fat Liberation Resources. It has a bunch of different articles talking about the history of fat liberation and fat phobia as a feminist issue. And last would be Anything on Obesity Time Bomb. It's by Dr. Charlotte Cooper, who talks about leftist politics, class, and fat phobia. The conversation right now on whether it's fat phobic to not want to be fat.
So, I'm sorry. Fuck no. No. I will this is the talking point that genuinely pisses me off so many fucking times. Not wanting to be fat is fat phobic. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Fuck all y'all. No. I can do whatever the fuck I want with my body without it being is somehow related to your oppression. Fuck you. I'm sorry. That literally pisses me the fuck off because I can do whatever the fuck I want. And for you to say that it is wrong for me to do what I want with my body in a way that harms no one, not even myself, and that is still somehow wrong because of your fucking ideology, fuck you. Fuck you. God, this is the talking point that just sets me off. Because how fucking dare you try to exert control over me and what I do with my goddamn body through some sort of fucking social condition? Like, you want to be fat? Go fucking be fat. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You trying to make me wanting to lose weight, wanting to take care of myself as some sort of signifier that I am fat phobic and therefore assisting in the oppression of fat people? Fuck you. Fuck you. God. It just makes me so mad. I hate this talking point so fucking much. God.
Aletta Avarez says, this is on Instagram, what if those who get lost in the Bermuda Triangle are time traveling?
What if? I don't know. I'd be
Aletta
So this just has some captions that says find related content What if fat people don't spend their entire body, mind, and soul focused on losing weight instead focus on enjoying life, loving their bodies, and nourishing themselves? And that's what, like, that what if portion of it. And then she has something else. What if fat people didn't spend all their time trying to lose weight? Look, I've really come down on it in that, do I think that you should make an effort to be healthy? Yes. Yes, I fucking do. I think that you should make an effort to be healthy. Does that mean that I think we should bully people into making decisions that we feel are better? No. And to a certain extent, the truth is that there are some people that are just very obstinate, and in general people tend to be more obstinate when you're like trying to order them and tell them what to do. Ultimately, if they are an adult, they can make choices with what they want to do with their lives, and if that means they harm themselves through excessive eating to the point of being 300, 400 pounds, ultimately that's their choice. And one sec. Like, that's just the way it is. There's people that will harm themselves with drugs and cigarettes, and I don't support that either, but ultimately they're adults and you can't stop someone from doing something bad for themselves. Like, it's their choice. You can vocalize, especially if you're someone close to them, but ultimately some people don't want to give up a self-destructive habit for whatever reason. Maybe it's their primary coping mechanism, maybe they, like, there's a variety of reasons why people don't seek to do something healthier for themselves, and it's because whatever destructive behavior they're doing they view as beneficial, and nothing you say can convince them otherwise. So in general, when it comes to those that are morbidly obese, for better or worse, I've become apathetic towards that. Now, I am vehemently against promoting this to younger people when they are in a position in their lives to get healthy that can be the most beneficial to them. And so countering their talking points with my talking points, or pointing to other people with other talking points, or pointing to research or whatever, what have you, however I choose to approach that, that's important to me, mostly to counteract the just the bad advice that's out there on the internet, at least as best as I can. And not everyone supports my advice either, or my perspective. There's plenty of people that are against that, and that's part of what the internet is an exchange of ideas, and that's fine. But for adults like Marissa, you can't convince them to be better for themselves. My only hope is pointing out the issues in their logic and the issues with their talking points and their belief system, in the hopes that someone else will view it and really kind of consider for themselves. And you may decide to go down the self destructive path, believing that it is a form of body positivity. Or you may decide to take steps to be healthier for yourself. It's ultimately your choice.
I'm gonna let God.
Wait, so the commentary's responding to says, first off, discrimination is not determined by it being systemic. Secondly, I think it's supposed to be skinny. It says shinny. Skinny shaming is systemic. For example, it's insanely hard to find clothing that fits for skinny people, especially adults. I don't know. The whole conversation around clothes being a form of systemic oppression based on regardless of how thin you are or how fat you are is just a fucking dumb take to me personally, because so much, like, you can make that argument for just about anything. I can't wear most fragrances because I'm allergic to them. Whenever I go into a store that has a fragrance section, if you've ever been in Macy's and you know it runs down the fucking center, I have broken out in hives trying to get to another spot on it for on like Black Friday or during one of their clearance sales or something. And I've broken out in a fucking rash on my neck and shit from their fragrance section because a bunch of people are in there buying and spraying it. That's a me issue. I go into the bathroom, I take a wet napkin, and I just wipe off any fragrance that happened to get on me. And it is what it is. That's kind of like, that does not mean that I'm oppressed for having an allergic reaction and for Macy's having their fragrance section right down the fucking center of their store that it's impossible to get anywhere without going through it. That doesn't mean that Macy's is oppressing me. It means that it's a reality of the situation. Fat people and skinny people do have shopping options, but they are traditionally online. If you're like way outside the norm, that does not necessarily mean that you are oppressed. It means that that's your situation and you kind of have to learn to deal with it. We all have things like that we have to navigate. People with food allergies have foods that they can't buy, even if it's not directly connected to their allergen. If it's made in a factory that does process stuff that contains their allergen, they often can't eat it. It's I just You're not oppressed.
Fix it. Because if I fix it, I'm going to jail. I'm gonna let God fix it. Because if I fix it,
So the whole stand was, I'm gonna let God fix it because if I fix it, I'm going to jail. So that sounds kind of like she's trying to threaten the person, but whatever. Let's move on. Oh, and we are already up to March of this year.
So one thing that I often regret is a lot. But when I was going through my drinking, clubbing, going to the bar and the club stage all the time, from what, 20 to 23 maybe, I think I stopped going as much. I had like a 4-year stint of that. And you know why I stopped going to the club to dance? Because my friends grew out of it. And then I just never went back and I was pissed. So I regret not going alone. I regret not finding other people to go with. And I regret having friends that didn't say, no, I don't want to go, but you should go by yourself. Like I regret not having an issue with not having encouraging friends at the time. And I wish I just went alone. So one thing that
So this is really interesting, and I feel like this is, again, a more human look at Marissa, so I wanted to share it. And it's so interesting because there's a couple, I think that this sort of perspective can actually be a fairly universal take depending on where, like, not specifically clubbing. I never had any interest in going clubbing. I've never been clubbing, and I really don't give a shit about trying it out. But I think we all have something that we're like, oh yeah, all my friends grew out of that, or my peer group grew out of it, or suddenly I got it in my head that it was immature to do it anymore, so I stopped, and I regret that. I think we all have something kind of like that. I tried to teach myself violin once, and like I failed miserably at it because I didn't know how to find resources at the time. And it's Violin is probably an instrument that you should not try to teach yourself, just because of how precise it is. But I ended up donating my violin to the school, and while I'm glad that I hope it's helped whatever kid, because it was kept at an elementary school, but it was also kept as a loaner for the school district. So if a kid couldn't afford one, they got to use it. So ultimately, at least it went to a good cause. But I regret giving away the violin. I actually gave away a couple of instruments that I thought, oh, it's not for me. I wish I had kept them. Something else is that for a long time I didn't participate in Pokemon anymore because even though there's plenty of adults that love Pokemon, for some reason I was like, yeah, but they're immature. I don't know why I got that in my head. And you know what? I'm like, fuck it. I like Pokemon. So I've started playing. I booted up my old Let's Play channel. It's back online, and I have been playing Pokemon Green on an emulator. It has a very shitty translation, but I've had a lot of fun playing it, and I miss Pokemon. I want to play Pokemon again. So, like, I understand I think it's not going to be the same for everyone, but I think everyone can kind of relate to what she experienced here, where it's like, oh, I regret that I let my perception of whether it was socially acceptable get in my way. I wish I had just been okay either doing it alone or finding a new group to do it with or whatever. The only thing is that I don't know how I feel about it feels like a push off of responsibility to say, oh, I wish I had friends that encouraged me. I would like to hear your opinion on that one. I'm like, I don't think we can really blame the friends are probably absorbed in their own thing, so encouraging you may not have been at the top of mindset. Like if they were 23, 24, did they graduate college? Were they trying to move into a more like adult part of their life, and so they just started, maybe they just lost interest in clubbing, maybe it started to look too young for them, and they were kind of navigating their own, like 23, 24, 25 is right around the quarter life crisis stage, and like maybe they had their own shit going on. So I don't know, I don't like the I regret not having friends to encourage me to just do it on my own. It's one thing to regret not having the confidence to do it yourself at the time. Like I get that. Regretting not having friends to kind of push you in that direction, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. That feels a little too I'm the main character for me. It feels a little too much like we're shirking the responsibility of what we wish we had done ourselves. That's my perspective on that one, and I'd really, really like to hear your opinion on this one.
I don't understand people. And I do not understand why people get so offended so easily. So here's my story about this because I think it's stupid as shit. Let's set the scene. I went to a Fifi Dobson concert. This was a couple months ago. Well, more than a couple months ago. It was like 5 months ago now, I think. The concert was great. I'm with my friend. We go to, I forget where. I forget the place, but we went to the Gay Village in Toronto. We go to this place and it's really cool. There's some drag performers. It's going nice. Then out of the corner of my eye, I see some dude that I recognize. Now, context. I've had multiple concussions. I have memory issues, ADHD, what have you, the lot. So I think it takes me about 20 minutes, like at least 5 or 6 songs, about 20 minutes to figure out where I can place this guy. Because as much as I struggle with like short-term memory, I do have a very good long-term memory. Yay, but so I finally place him, okay? And he's like about to walk past me. And I'm like, hey man, what's up? And I say his name. It's like Chris or whatever, I'm pretty sure. Mind you, I had to look on Facebook to remember his entire like name because I only remembered part of it. So anyway, he's walking like about by me and then I like tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, hey man, what's up? And I say his name. And then he looks at me like, I'm like, Marissa Matthews, blah, blah, blah. Like, we did Cadet so-and-so however many years ago. Camp, blah, 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 sailing, whatever. Like, all the triggers to, you know, refresh your memory. And he's like, oh, hey, what's up? How you been? What you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Said I went to a concert. Okay, so all fine. But because I overshare, I don't think that's my fault entirely. But also, it's been at least, like, I want to say 2012 to now. It's been over 10 years. Over 10 years. I think I might have seen it in 2013 or 14. So 10 years since I've seen this dude, talked to him, thought about him, like whatever. So I blurred out, I was like, yeah, I saw you a bit ago and it took me a bit of time to remember your name. And that's all I pretty much said. And this guy got so fucking disgusted with me that he like stopped talking at me, looked at me weird, and then walked away and said, how fucking hypocritical is that? How hypocritical is that? How hypocritical? Takes
So, genuinely, I feel like there's a missing piece of the puzzle here. Possibly could have happened. I don't know. It's kind of hard when you're meeting someone that you knew from like a decade ago. Um, was he offended? Did something else happen in the environment? Because Marissa doesn't strike me as the most situationally aware person. Was something else happening in the environment? Not trying to give this guy an excuse, because if he was an asshole, he was an asshole. But I just feel like there's been a jump in this story. Am I the only one that feels like there's a jump in this story?
you fucking 30 seconds to recognize who the fuck I am, and I'm not allowed to think about who the fuck you are? One, we have not stayed in contact and it's been 10 years. Like, why are people like this? Why are people like this? So Christopher, fuck you, but also what the fuck? Why would you get offended by that? Especially when I have concussion issues. But this motherfucker got so pissed so fast that I couldn't even, that was the next thing out of my mouth, and I couldn't even say that because he was so like, no, fuck you. It's like, okay, great. Good job ruining a nice little moment. Like, and this is why I fucking hate people. Like, literally, this is why I avoid saying hello to people in public anymore that I know from my past. Because people are like this. Like, why would you get offended that I have had concussions? Stupid! Okay, I also just wanted to add. We, did cadets at the same time, but he was, a year ahead of me. We were never in the same little group of friends. We were never taking the same course at the same time in the summer. And I don't think I ever drank with him. Like, maybe once or twice. He was in the big, like, group of 20 of us that went out to the club. But he was never in my, like, inner 5 of people that I hung out with. So why would I remember your name fully? Why? When it's been 10 years. I don't even think we have a fucking selfie together, bro. Like, why are people like this?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. Honestly, I think just from her description, if this is how things went down and how, like, all that, then it sounds like it wasn't at all related to what she said, and either he's pissy about something else, or he might have had a I don't know. There's just something that, like, her connecting I don't remember your name to his reaction feels like there's a disconnect somewhere. Given her description of their relationship, it's been 10 years. He didn't even remember her name at first, and she had to kind of give him clues as to, how they knew each other. So, there's something I'm not saying that she's wrong per se. I'm just saying that I think she's probably internalizing and personalizing something that may not have been that personal. We know her side, but we don't know his side of the conversation. There's just something here that feels like I'm not saying that he didn't do that, and I'm not saying that she can't take some offense to it. I'm just saying I feel like there was a miscommunication somewhere. Okay, so that's gonna be copyright claimed. So let's see. Her captions say there's nothing wrong with being fat. You are allowed to be fat and you're allowed to not hate yourself for being fat. Your body size does not determine your worth regardless of what society says. Okay, good for you, girl.
I've made a
So the comment she's responding to says, please don't promote or say it's fine to live an unhealthy lifestyle with a heart, which feels this triggers me just slightly because the please don't promote or say it's fine to live an unhealthy lifestyle with the heart. I don't know what it is about the heart, but the heart feels condescending and it pisses me off. So we're gonna go ahead and let her voice, since this is 3 minutes and I do still want to cover some of my game recommendations. This is probably gonna be our last video for this part.
1,000,001 videos replying to hate comments like this, but I haven't made one in a while, so let me repeat all of my same vernacular and verbatim that I always say. To start off, 1, please quote me where I have advertised and advocated for people to live an unhealthy lifestyle. Oh wait, you can't, I've never done that. 2,
I feel like there was a, like, I'm 100% promoting obesity. Do you remember that sound? I feel like she did use that before, but she's also scrubbed her content a couple of times. So here's the thing. I think Marissa it spews a bunch of rhetoric. I do think to a certain extent she does promote this, but she isn't someone that at least that I would hope people would take too seriously. Like, she clearly has her own series of issues, and in all honesty, putting this sort of comment just kind of seems like it's meant to incite a reaction a little bit out of her. In general, with Marissa in particular, she's very reactionary, and anything that is not in line with her opinion, she's going to attack. So this just kind of feels like, why even post this, But to say that she's never promoted obesity, I I feel like that's a little bit of a lie. Uh because I'm pretty sure she's done some TikToks in the past. She scrubbed her content, so we can't really double check. There's like almost 2 full years of content missing. Even if one of those years she was mostly gone, that's still like a full year worth of stuff missing, and more than a year because we can't even find the stuff that we were covering before she went offline the first time. So I'm sure there is some stuff. She's saying that there isn't now because she's scrubbed her stuff, but that doesn't feel genuine to me.
you are assuming by looking at me that I live an unhealthy lifestyle. And that, my sir, is called fat phobia. Because you cannot tell someone's health by just looking at them. Because someone's health is not determined by just their appearance. If that were the case, everyone would be fucking doctors. Oh wait, everyone thinks they're fucking doctors. But no, you see a fat person, and because your fat phobia is so ingrained and you have so much fat phobic biases associated with bigger people because of society or whatever fucking reason, you look at fat people and then you assume that you know every single thing about them, right? You assume that you think that you know that they're doing nothing but eating all day or nothing but laying in bed all day. That's what you're assuming based on someone's appearance.
And do you realize that you are putting thoughts and ideas and shit on someone else that they have never said? Just as you have said, I have never promoted unhealthy lifestyles. Where have I? Oh, you can't find it because I never said it. They haven't said it either, and yet you are putting forth something on their intention. So, like, it can go both ways. That's the thing, is that it's like you can, oh my god, I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. But to say that if the person is saying, please don't say it's fine to live this unhealthy lifestyle, he is implying that she lives an unhealthy lifestyle and whatever that means to him. And he or she, it says Madison, so I'm guessing it's a woman. She's promoting that Marissa is saying that it's fine to live in an unhealthy way, but then Marissa, in turn, she's saying that she hates it when people do this, yet she is doing the exact same thing herself by saying that you're assuming that I eat all day and I never get up from bed. No one ever said that. You said that. No, you're putting words in other people's mouths just as you feel they are putting words in your mouth. This is some big fucking playground bullshit argument, and I am so fucking tired of it. Alright? And the thing is at least with the commenter, stuff has been deleted, but I remember Marissa's old content. She's been very much in promotion of, like, you can eat whatever you want and you can be fat and morbidly obese and you should love yourself and society should accept it and people should find you attractive and XYZ. So we've heard if there is a promoter of obesity, Marissa does fall in that realm. So just because she scrubbed some of her content now doesn't mean that that wasn't a thing that she posted. So, and we don't know what video Madison posted under. That's something else that I would really like to see, but my guess is that I haven't seen it at all while I was scrolling through some of her stuff. So I'm guessing the original post that she was responding to has been deleted. So we don't even know the context in which Madison is making this comment. So it just feels like there's some fuckery going on.
And that is fat phobia. That's a bias, that's a stereotype, and that is also factually incorrect. So again, telling people that it's okay to live in a fat body is not promoting anything other than self-love, self-acceptance, and I'm promoting to ignore what fucking people say. I'm promoting to ignore what diet culture says. Because you do not have to be thin to be healthy. Okay? You can be fat and you can be healthy as well. Okay? You're assuming that that is impossible when that's factually correct. Also, even if I am promoting unhealthy behavior, which I'm not, but let's throw you a bone. Let's just say that I could be, right? Guess the fuck what? This is my page. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And you have no fucking right to tell me what I can and cannot do on my own social media platform. And that's what social media is for. Like, come on.
Actually, that's not entirely correct. I mean, she personally doesn't have the authority to tell you what not to post, but to say that no one can tell you what you can and cannot post on it, it's not really your social media platform. It is a social media platform that you are engaging with. They are the ones that determine what content is acceptable. So you can't post whatever you want. And if you're promoting unhealthy enough behaviors, you have to take it down. And I'm actually, now that I'm talking about it, I wonder if she actually had to take some of those posts down because it was promoting unhealthy behaviors. And TikTok like cracked down on that. I wonder if that's why we don't see as many strong fat acceptance shit anymore. Because I know that they were getting flagged for a while there. I wonder if that's kind of what's been going on.
Use your brain a little. Let's not be fat phobic. Okay? Let's unlearn those biased stereotypes around fat people. Let's not pretend to be a fucking doctor. And let's not tell me what I could or should do. Because I do not live my life by your standards. I live my life by my own standards and not yours. But either way, for everyone who's still here, thank you so much for watching. And another reminder, you are allowed to be fat. You are allowed to be fat and happy. You are allowed to exist in your body as a fat person and be healthy and be unhealthy. You're allowed to do that. Regardless of what anyone else fucking says, you're allowed to live in a fat body and you're allowed to not hate yourself for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with promoting that. And there's nothing wrong with living your life like that.
There's also nothing wrong with pointing out the serious health implications of living like that. Just, I mean, like, if you're gonna say, and this is general for fact evidence, if you're gonna say, I have every right to live this way, I have every right, yes, yeah, you do. You have every right to say, I'm happy this way on social media. By all means, and I have every right to post something saying that that's a bad idea. It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
If you disagree with all of that, like the end part, that's fine. But you're not meant for my page. You're not my target audience. Okay? Thanks so much. And happy unlearning your fat phobia. And learning how to zip it.
She's so condescending. I'm actually getting irritated for reasons unrelated to her comments. So we're gonna end it there. But yeah, I think we might just finish it. So Marissa has like 3 different profiles. This one Marissa says, and then she also says she is Marissa Matthews, which that one there's another one that she has, but she doesn't post on it very much. But she is Marissa Matthews. She's gone back and forth with those two. So it might be worth looking into that one as well. But for today, we're going to end it here. But I am going to show you gaming recommendations. So the first one is The Shrouded Isle. This is a very, like, not for everybody sort of game. Okay, it's very cultish. It has kind of a Cthulhu eldritch horror thing about it, like vibe about it. So basically, what it is that you're on this very secluded isle. There's 5 families that you kind of oversee, and everyone is kind of trying to prepare for this thing called a Chernabog coming, like trying to create sacrifices in such a way that you can bring that forth. And it's a resource management game, and the big thing is that you're trying to keep all 5 families neutral to satisfied, but you do have to make a sacrifice every season for the Chernabog, and you get these prompts based on different traits that you're looking for. Sometimes they want an embezzler, sometimes they want a liar, sometimes they want a thief, whatever, and you have to try to get that along with keeping those families happy. You also have a it's ignorance, fervor, discipline, obedience, and penitence. Those are like the 5 things that you are trying to promote. If any of them fall below a certain threshold, the people in the community can kind of wake up and won't participate in these ritual sacrifices anymore, which means they could turn on you, you could die, and just like not bring forth the thing. It's not an easy game. There's a lot that kind of goes into it. Oh, and there's times where people are just like acting strangely, and sometimes they can be hallucinating or they could just have depression or whatever, and you have to purify them by essentially half drowning them. Like it's a fucking dark game. Like I'm not gonna say this is why I'm like it's not for everybody, but it's a little fucked up, I'm not gonna lie, but it's a very solid it's a very solid resource management game. It's kind of hard, but like when you get into a rhythm and you can like figure and map things out just so, it can be very satisfying to line everything up just right. Sometimes you also get these random events where you have to solve a problem in a way that is um gonna hurt you least. So I have yet to successfully summon the Chernabog, but it's definitely an interesting game. It's not for someone that's easily creeped out, and it's not for anyone that has issues with like participating in like even this very fake, very fictitious cult thing. But now for like something that's much better for like everyone. is Yes, Your Grace. Oh my god, this is such a fantastic game. This one is better than the Shrouded Isle. If you can only choose one, I would say get Yes, Your Grace. There is a sequel coming out, which I'm super fucking excited for. The general, like, there's a bunch of there's so many story plot lines, I can't even touch them all, but the general concept is that you are a king, and there are these kind of, they're called Redovians, and think of it, but they're not like a recognized people so much. Think of it like, I mean, if you had to replace Redovians with barbarians, they would essentially be treated the same, just to kind of give you an idea of how they're treated. But he had apparently at knife point promised the head of that group his daughter. And so the group, like, he got that head of that group rallied everyone and was coming to storm his castle. And so he had, your job is to figure out how to take on that army of people. And so you have to balance resources for your kingdom, you have to balance money for your kingdom, you have to balance the relationships with all three daughters and your wife. You're also trying to get a male heir. You have to balance the happiness of the people by aiding their requests, and sometimes you can't aid their requests. That's where most of their requests require either a general, um, a money, or supplies. So you have to balance all three of those things, but your general will also need to be able to do like side quests to find things that you need for important plot events later. So that's all of what you're balancing with this. And it's been like, oh no, wait, you think it's over, but not yet, like 7 times in this game. It was so satisfying though when I managed to make it to the end and save um many people. So it's very much worth a playthrough if you like resource management and you like it. And I will say it, the music in it, like, if you like Red Fair music, the music in this slaps. It's awesome. It is such fucking excellent music. Um, the As you can see, I've played 7 hours of it, and I've been able to work through it. My big goal now is just getting some of the other achievements. And that 7 hours is after I messed up on a different playthrough, uh, and so I lost, like, so it's only like a 4 hour, 4 to 5 hour game by the time you get from beginning to end if you don't die. The first time through, I ran out of supplies and everyone starved. So that's something to just be aware of. But there's so much going on. It has a rich storyline, fantastic music, excellent balanced gameplay. I cannot recommend Yes, Your Grace enough. I love this fucking game. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.